Hello everyone and welcome to the Tech Unveiled series. So today we're going to have the second episode in our CloudRAN episode series. And so I'm Sten Axelsson and I'm your host. And so topic of the day is the integrated high-performance RAN processing. And with me to discuss that, we have Mikael Englund. So welcome, Mikael.
Thank you. Thank you for inviting me.
You're then strategic product manager within product line RAN Compute, and you're working with the future RAN computer products for Ericsson. Was all that correct?
Yes, that's correct. I am responsible for our next generation digital processing hardware, purpose-built hardware, that is. You said integrated, same thing.
Okay, and a little bit about your background. How did you get here?
Yes, I have not always worked with hardware, that's for sure. Before I shifted my position to what I'm currently doing, I was working in pure software, 4G as a matter of fact. And I was then responsible for kicking off our virtualized RAN development, actually. Before that, I've been product manager, I should say, for 2G and 3G RBSs.
Yeah.
And I actually started way back in the year 2000 in RAN with TDMA.
So, Michael, you're responsible for our future RAN computing products. So what challenges do you then see for data processing in the networks in the future? You know, especially now as we add 5G to the mix as well.
We have, for example, an increased bandwidth requirement. We're going from the 20 megahertz we have in 4G to, well, we have 20 megahertz in the low bands for 5G, but we also have 100 megahertz in the mid band, and we go all the way up to 800 megahertz in the high bands, the millimeter wave.
Yeah.
And to do that, we have to look at bands up in higher frequencies, of course. And with higher frequency, we have increased signal attenuation, which will make the cell smaller unless you have technology to address it. And we have then this extra bandwidth that is processing heavy aspects added to the mix, and the high frequency that is actually requiring that the radios are becoming much more advanced with massive MIMO and many transceivers going from 2 to 4 to 8, and now also to 64 transceivers and antenna branches, enabling extreme beamforming to mitigate those attenuation effects. And latency, we have latency. It's
yes.
a 5G aspect.
Yeah.
Shorter latency, especially for example, for industrial IoT, automated factories, that sort of thing. And also the higher frequency together with the lower latency has an impact on the TTI, the transmission time interval.
Yes.
Which used to be 1 millisecond in LTE, and for 5G it will be 1 millisecond in the low band, but in the mid band and high band it will be down to half a millisecond and even down to 1/10 of a millisecond. So we're talking about maybe 40 times more work to be done, and some of it has to be done in 1/10 of the time.
So when it comes to this massive need for data computing in the networks and how we approach it, I know that there has been some buzz about something called EMCA. So what is EMCA exactly?
Yeah, EMCA stands for Ericsson Many-Core Architecture, and EMCA is it's fully Ericsson unique. It's the heart of what we call RAN Compute.
Yeah.
That's what we build our RAN Compute products with. It's designed for processing of the mid to low layers of the air interface protocol. In 2004, the world, I should say, realized that you could not just increase the clock frequency of processors. You needed another path to explore, and multi-core was the choice. And many-core is not just another word for multi-core. Many-core is about adding not only a handful of processors, it's about adding maybe hundreds of them.
So can you tell me how EMCA came about? You know, where did it start?
We needed a way to handle the channel coding of an air interface that was constantly evolving. We needed something that was both flexible and efficient. Many-core is significantly harder to program, especially when it comes to general problems. Or general purpose problems. But RAN is not so much about general problems. It's so much about, should I say, many users with many devices, with many quality of service levels, with many network slices, in many cells, with many radios, with many resource blocks, with many antenna branches.
That's plenty to handle.
Yeah, and this granularity of the problem makes it very suitable for a many-core architecture. You can divide the problem into very many separate and independent tasks and just throw it onto a large pool of cores, and they can be processed in parallel.
Yeah.
Being able to divide the problem is unfortunately not the only thing you need to do. You need also to have the tools for debugging and verification. You need to have the right platforms. You need to have the right software framework for making this split into small packages, executing in parallel, and to put them together.
So if we take a step back, how do you say that EMCA relates to CloudRAN?
Yes, a good question. In fact, RAN Compute and CloudRAN are two separate product lines. And just to exemplify what I mean, this is the main RAN Compute products. This is what we previously called baseband, but we nowadays call it RAN Compute because it does so much more than just baseband and signal processing.
This is then slightly different from the CloudRAN, then I take it.
Yes. We do target different market segments with RAN Compute compared to CloudRAN. In RAN Compute, we focus primarily on performance. We focus on efficiency. We focus on compatibility with current networks and a legacy way of managing things. We focus on robustness. We focus on security, such as tamper protection, intrusion protection, all these things that operators depend on today. Whereas on the CloudRAN side, we focus on slightly different things. There, the key focus is, for example, Open RAN compliance. It's the use of a common generic cloud infrastructure, managing with cloud management rules like orchestration and so forth, microservice deployment, etc., etc.
So how does this massive computing power that we get with the EMCA, the Many-Core Architecture, how does that benefit our RAN solutions?
I would say there are quite a few of them, actually. I would say that it's primarily, or at the bottom of things, energy efficiency.
Yep.
Yes, and lower cooling requirements, smaller size, lower weight, and higher performance, and robustness. And interconnectivity, connecting transport network equipment, built-in switch, connecting radios, connecting multiple units, platform coherency for smooth software evolution. You have modularity and scalability for being able to provide different capacity variants, for being able to provide rack-mounted units, even in a shallow depth rack, and so forth.
It's something truly unique we've created when you add all those characteristics and benefits together.
And another thing that I should mention is that this is not the only unit. We also have EMCA in many different units, like in routers, in radios,
in other parts of the portfolio.
In other parts of the portfolio, and also indoor and outdoor.
That are also in the networks, but don't look like that.
Don't look like this.
For instance, they look like...
We have, for example, a massive MIMO radio up here, which has EMCA inside.
All right, so which would you say are your favorite features enabled by the EMCA that we basically already have deployed in our networks?
I think one of my favorite features is the fact that now we can use EMCA in many different products, wherever it makes most sense. We also, because of EMCA is so flexible and provides a lot of excess capacity, we were able to introduce something we call elastic RAN, which is a way of interconnecting multiple units together so that we can do advanced coordination, not only within the unit and the radio units connected to that unit, but between radios connected to different radio units. Actually, in a C-RAN with coordination clusters, this actually enables us to do infinitely scalable centralized RANs, C-RANs. So you could have coordination clusters without any boundaries as big as you like. We also have some features. We have
others,
something called the Ericsson uplink booster, which is implemented in EMCA in a radio, like in our massive MIMO radio. It does allow us to provide an extra 10 dB gain in the uplink
for the users,
mitigate the small cells that you get on high frequencies, for example.
Yeah.
Another very advanced and amazing feature is the Ericsson spectrum sharing, which is a way of putting 5G onto an existing 4G carrier. And you can do that using the same radio, the same CPRI link, and the same baseband hardware, or RAN compute hardware, I should say. Or you could even have, using Elastic RAN, you could have 5G on a different RAN compute hardware.
Okay, so which benefits do you see that the Many-Core Architecture platform brings to our customers as well, in the both the short and the long term?
Well, you have future-proofness.
Yes.
And as a proof point, we could take the hardware from 2015, based on EMCA, is today running 5G. And you can expect that future hardware will exhibit the same benefits. So what you deploy today will work in 2025. And apart from future-proofness, you have the longer life. It's a platform that can be upgraded throughout the years. You have lower TCO. It's the most energy-efficient platform that you can use for mobile networks, for RAN. Then you have, of course, performance. It can work together with any radio, past, current, or future. Massive MIMO. You also have quality. EMCA is a battle-proven platform. It's continuously evolving, but we're taking incremental steps. We're not starting from scratch every time. And you have innovation. It runs with software that is not rewritten from scratch every time. It's incrementally improved. If we can keep one step ahead, we will help our customer to keep one step ahead of the market needs. And I would say we don't yet know what the limit of EMCA is.
All right, so thank you very much, Mikael, for joining us today and unveiling some of those mysteries around EMCA. And also, thanks to you guys for watching the second episode of our CloudRAN series. So in the next one, we are going to be unveiling more on the different processing options that exist in 5G RAN. So don't miss out on that. Stay tuned, and bye-bye.